Good morning, class 805. Greetings from Columbia, Maryland. My name is Alex Santrak, and I'm going to present to you issue of practicing diversity issues related to college access and getting strategic about college access in one four-year public college, which is from chapter 2 from the book that we were assigned to read for this week. Sweetwater Springs State College, I want to talk first about a case study and description and a background from the book. First of all, the emphasis is on equitable and authentic college access, which requires execution and coordination and flexibility. This is a medium-sized college, about 13,000 undergrad and 500 graduate students and about 1,600 faculty and staff. Recently, college admitted about 4,200 undergraduates, and the size and the composition was shifted dramatically. Residential and student services expansion project is very well known at the campus, and the freshmen increased from 15 to 60%. That means the college really expanded. Areas around the campus have become more racially and ethnically diverse, especially the emphasis is on Latinx population. Economically, on more low-income students start attending college. And several programs were also developed, especially traditionally for untraditionally undeserved students. Some annual grants and tutoring internships were offered. And the problem is that these activities were not aligned or integrated with admission office structure, especially the staff turnover. The admission office is understaffed. So the current solution that Assistant Vice President Dr. Walter Mason offered, he called the admission office small but mighty. Though understaffed, they reach out to community and school districts, television and radio, especially targeted our high schools with field trips, road shows, and host meetups. Sweetwater Springs State College has current challenges that we want to address in this presentation and how to resolve them. The challenge number 1, or A, is outreach efforts are uneven, staffing is very limited, and the visits of high school are limited to freshmen and sophomores. They also have a lack of online advertising and meetings, which is evident in the case. The second challenge is that administrative units, though excited about the outreach, are not particularly diverse, so we don't have diversity present, which might be on the campus but not on the administrative unit of admission office. Therefore, the key issue in this presentation is the conclusion of the matter, and the advice is needed about ways to make admissions and outreach functions more effective for recruiting racially and socioeconomically diverse students. That means that the whole college is trying to make a way for admissions of those strategically targeted groups of students. And they also think about resources, how to provide resources for that. So discussion of action, including these two action steps. The first is creating a network based on sociological model, what I believe is extremely important here, and diversification of the admission office staff. So how to do that? Discussing a sociological model, Winkler, Wagner, and Locke say that sociological approach to thinking about college-going decision attempt to connect family, social classes, students' individual characteristics, and larger socio-cultural factors that may somehow influence students decide whether or where to attend college. In this regard, in this context, if you watch the movie The Graduates, you will realize that the case of Eduardo is very relevant here. The young man is coming from Latin American community, but there are problems of multidimensional problems related to family issues, undocumented challenges, alienation from parents especially, and perhaps too much freedom. The young man, Eduardo, actually worked hard, and with the help of tutors and some other families, he reached a GPA of 3.8, and he also became a newest member of Reality Changers. That means that he now wants to give a contribution to the society. Conclusion of this application of sociological model, especially throughout Eduardo's case, is extremely beneficial for this small college, because family relationships and relationships with peers and close community actually build up students and their social capital. That's crucial for college admission. Outreach function would be more effective if admission office build up this sociological model and implement the infrastructure to help recruiters recognize the value of the background, sociocultural background, and creating a social capital. Speaking about concrete action steps in sociological model, I believe that the admission office needs to increase the number of staff devoted to online marketing, which is extremely important in 21st century. We all live online in a virtual generation, especially students we teach. And the online platform created with a purpose in mind that will be an excellent tool of outreach. And second, admission office, I believe, needs to collaborate with other campus offices to create that atmosphere of outreach and outreach activities, especially with faculty, staff, and other interested students. Expansion will greatly contribute to this sociological model and strengthen the whole case. Speaking about the second part of diversification of admission office staff, I believe that the second goal should be diversification of the office staff for the purpose of outreach. Diversification of the admission office staff will contribute to diversified campus climate, and that will create inclusive environment, marketed to the incoming students as a value of the campus, and of course attractiveness of the safe higher education environment. So it's not just a value, which is ideological, but also practical, pragmatic safety. People feel safe when they're accepted, recognized, and when they are inclusion is practiced on the campus. Speaking about diversity, I wanted to quote Hawkins and Nicola 2017 in Diversity Among Higher Education Admission Professionals is more important than ever. And they say that admission diversity is especially critical in college and university admission offices. Admission counselors not only serve as the face of the respective institution to prospective students, they also are responsible for shaping the future of the university through admitting each incoming class. So only diversified admission office actually make a significant impact on the incoming students, and this is extremely important, especially in this case of a particular community. Robert Palmer, in his article, Are You Serious About Diversifying Your Faculty and Staff in Inside of Higher Ed, offers a few action steps that I want to share with you. First of all, he said, conduct a campus climate survey, so all-inclusive campus survey about the issue. Conduct cluster hiring, which also include sharing ethnic commonalities in different departments. I worked myself in one of those departments where ethnic commonalities were very, very important. He also says that partnering with Latinx communities and colleges, I'm applying his principle. We should seek the professionals who have that background in cluster hiring, and we also look for the models in higher education. So we can say in this effort of diversification of the admission office that it should be the integral part of diversification of the process of the campus climate and campus leadership, especially DIE office, should understand this and integrate this with admission office. Well, recommendations based on action steps include these two, of course: implement sociological model of networking with key players and diversifying the campus to become safe and inclusive environment for all demographic backgrounds of students, which will promote and market diversity as strength and value for future students. And that's why this college access is related to college value of what is happening at the college campus. I also want to add a few recommendations, my observation based on what Dr. Mason and his team should do. First of all, the path towards college access begins long before a student steps foot on a college campus. That's a quote from Winkler, Wagner, and Locks. The admission team recognized the potential capital of students, that's cultural, social, field, and so on, all kind of habits, which is a social reproduction theory application. But the team also need to recognize the academic capital formation within the given sociological model of interaction. That means within the sociocultural context. They need to recognize students and develop that before college, well known as academic capital formation. And second, diversification can be done only as intentional. That means that inclusion and diversity is called towards action, It is not just a theory in our head or ideology, it's the act of inclusion that includes understanding an intersectional approach to race, and also, I believe, creating intentional narratives that will market the case. Online or in person, this is very important. And number three, all the obstacles and barriers that are mentioned in the book, applications barriers, enrollment barriers, might be overcome if we have the intentional reach out based on sociological model and, I believe, diversification process. So as summary, I would say that campus operations will be enriched, strengthened, and through sociological model of networking and integration of Latinx students and other backgrounds, and diversification of the admission office staff, which is the integral part of the impact of the campus climate. Recruiting of racially and socioeconomically diverse students has been always a challenge, and we all know that. However, with these intentional steps based on values of sociological model and diversity, many other obstacles can be overcome. These are the sources I've been used in this presentation. Copyright for the photos. Thank you so much for your time, and may you be successful in this course and other courses in this program. All the best. Best wishes.